All it takes is a small ember of belief to start a new creative journey in retirement. Just a small one. You don't need to be certain, you don't need to feel ready, you just need that tiny glimmer of wondering, what if I could actually do this? Belief comes first in anything we choose to do in life. It's belief that moves us. It's that ember burning away deep inside that gets us going. It's what makes us want to take a step forward. But here's the thing about belief. It needs time to grow. And in those early days, when the ember is still fragile and the belief just isn't quite there yet, something else carries us through into the world of drawing and creativity. Hope. Now, hope is a lot quieter than belief. It doesn't make a big announcement. It just keeps the door open. It's that part of you that hasn't quite given up yet, that still wonders, that finds itself here listening, just in case this is the thing that finally makes sense. And when we have hope, we can keep going, even when our belief wavers, even when the drawing doesn't come out the way we imagined. Even when that old familiar voice arrives and tells us we were silly to even try. Hope says, not yet, stay a little while longer. And that's enough. That's really more than enough to begin learning to draw and awakening your creativity in retirement. Drawing is exactly the same. If you're here, it's probably because deep down inside you have that ember, a quiet, persistent longing to learn how to draw. Maybe you didn't quite learn to draw as a child, and then you left it all behind because you had to follow the right path in life. You had to have a reliable career and to become the best you could at what you did, and you did that. You were really good at it too. Now you've earned your hard-won retirement and you're glad of that freedom. But you know there's something missing, something more to it than simply to just relax, enjoy, and have a good time, go on holidays, big sleep-ins. That's not what today is about. That ember, that belief that's been sitting quietly inside you, perhaps for decades, that's what this is about today. Because here's the challenge. That belief isn't strong yet. It's just a glimmer. It's just a little ember. And that ember needs to be fanned into a flame before you can truly, fully embrace drawing and the creative life that comes from it. So how do you actually do that? What does it really take to fan that flame? I want to talk to you about that now because I think this is the part that nobody explains properly. And without understanding it, so many women give up just before the moment everything changes. The first thing you need is exactly what we've just been talking about, hope that gradually develops into belief. That comes from one thing only. Evidence, small, real, personal proof that you can actually do this, that you can actually draw. Not someone telling you that you can, seeing it for yourself, experiencing it for yourself with your own hand on your own page. Now that is where belief is born, with evidence. And here is where I want to introduce you to something important. To draw well, you need to develop what I call the 4 comparison skills. These are skills you're already using in your everyday life without even knowing it, but you need to develop them specifically for drawing. You're using these skills when you compare angles to straighten a picture on the wall. You compare sizes when you cut a cake into equal slices. You compare tones when you notice shadows under a tree on a bright sunny day. And you compare spaces when you sense that a room feels too crowded or too empty. So you're doing all these 4 things constantly, but what you've never been shown how to do is to consciously direct those same skills towards using a pencil and making marks on a page. Once you learn to access these 4 skills intentionally, something remarkable begins to happen. The gap between what you see in your mind and what comes out of your hand starts to close. So the 4 comparison skills alone aren't the whole picture though. You also need the fundamental principles of drawing. These are the ones that are handed down to us from the great masters across centuries. Things like understanding light and shadow, proportion, form, tone, and perspective, and in construction drawing, composition. These are not complicated when they're taught in the right way, at the right time, and in the right order. Simplified down to their barest essence so that they feel logical and manageable rather than overwhelming. Because you know why? That makes them fun. And we learn best when we're having fun. It makes them feel like play. And then there is something else, something that I believe matters just as much as any skill or principle. You need someone walking beside you, but not just anyone. Not someone who just says, oh, well done, you've done a clever job, that's a lovely picture. Someone who looks at your actual drawing, your specific work, your techniques, and gives you real, kind, but specific guidance that helps your skills to grow. Not just general, vague advice, actual encouragement in the right words at the right moment that show you precisely what to do next and give you the confidence to keep going. Now that kind of support changes everything, because drawing is not just a physical skill, it's an emotional one. And the moments when you most need to keep going are exactly the moments when the old voice is the loudest. That voice that's been with you for years and years. Having someone there really helps you. Someone who believes in you and sees your work clearly. They see the potential and they know how to help you move forward. That is what turns a hesitant beginner into a woman who can genuinely draw. And what are those old voices? They're the voices that say, well, I can't draw. I couldn't as a child. I may as well give up. Or I might have been able to as a child, but I certainly can't now. It's those voices of doubt that come back in. So put all of this together and what do you have? You have hope that grows into belief. The 4 comparison skills assessed with intention, the fundamental principles of the great masters taught simply and logically, step by baby step, until they come together as a whole skill of drawing, coupled with warm, specific encouragement, guiding you every step of the way. Now that is how a woman really learns to draw, and in a far shorter time possible than what she could ever have imagined. So that tiny ember, that desire to learn to draw, it becomes a flame. The flame becomes a fire, and one day she looks up from her sketchbook, from her life, from a photograph, from pure imagination, and realizing she can draw. She is finally doing the very thing she once believed she never could. Now, if your ember is still glowing, that's enough for you to begin to learn to draw. See you in the next episode.